next speaker is an incredible healer. I'm just going to read a little bit about him before I bring him on. Jerry Sargeant, the founder of Star Magic Healing, is a powerful motivational speaker and healer, renowned for creating rapid shifts within people and transforming their lives on the mental, physical, and emotional and spiritual planes. Jerry travels the globe speaking, healing, and training others in star magic. And Jerry has trained thousands of souls in more than 35 countries and is on a mission to assist every single soul realize their human potential in becoming a superhuman. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on Jerry.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hello, Jerry.
Hey, Geraldine.
So good to meet you. Thank you so much for being here. So if you want to just start talking a little bit about yourself, and you could just jump right in.
Well, first of all, I want to just say thank you to Zane, Geraldine, all of the team at the Higher Self Expo for putting this together, and all of the other speakers, everyone that's here making this possible, and to all of you beautiful souls that are listening, watching, and taking part. I just want to say a massive, massive thank you, and I love you. So, I've got 45 minutes to share with you about star magic. You know, normally our shortest training is 7 days. So I'm going to share with you a few bits and pieces, things that hopefully be useful to you, give you an overview of what we do, tell you a little bit about myself. And if you've got questions, as Geraldine said at the start, then please at the end, feel free to ask them. Happy to answer anything that you want to know. So star magic, I mean, we travel the world training people to heal with this healing frequency. And our aim, our vision is to build healing centers in 13 different locations spread strategically around the Christ consciousness grid of the planet to harness really potent off-planet extraterrestrial frequencies and bring them safely to planet Earth through this kind of grid structure. Now, personally, this is a whole big shift for me as a human being. I used to have a very different life. And I'll explain to you how I got into this stuff briefly, give you the kind of machine gun overview version of my life story and how I got into this stuff. But, you know, I travel the world with my team, sharing this message of love and inspiration and showing people how to change and shift rapidly on a deep, deep subatomic level to create physical, verifiable results in this physical world using star magic. But my life used to be so different. I used to be a criminal. I used to smuggle drugs for a living. I was involved in lots of high-profile bank fraud. And my whole life has shifted and turned around. And it all started back in 2005 when I was in a taxi with my ex-wife and children in Romania. And we were traveling from a town called Piatra Neamț down to Bucharest after a holiday. My ex-wife is Romanian. We went to visit her family. We're on the way back to the airport. I'm asleep in a taxi early in the morning. Kids are and the ex-missus are in the back. And there's this massive loud crash. Boom. You know, I wake up, there's glass and there's wind flying everywhere. The car's swaying from side to side. And I remember thinking to myself, boy, we're in a serious accident. We're either going to hit the oncoming traffic or the car's going to flip over. And then all of a sudden we came to a stop. And I looked at the taxi driver and he looked petrified. I looked in front of me. There was a big hole in the windscreen. There was blood dripping down my face, but I wasn't bleeding. My daughter, Alea, she was underneath the driver's seat. She'd, come off of her seat. There was no seat belts in the taxi. And my ex-wife, Laura, and our son, Josh, both their mouths are full of glass. And I looked out of the windscreen and there was no cars. And I thought, this is strange. So I got out of the car. I looked about 30 meters back up the road and there were two ladies lying on the side of the road. I looked about another 100, 150 meters up the road and there was what looked like a dead body. And what had happened is these three ladies were crossing the road early in the morning. And the first one got hit clean on. She came through the windscreen, smashed me in the face, got flipped over the car and died. The second one had her ankles cut clean off. And the third one was physically okay. A guy had come out from a nearby factory and he was on the phone. And so I walked straight past the two ladies, the one with her ankles cut off and the other one, because I thought he's on the phone to the emergency services. What am I going to do? Her ankles were on the floor. There was nothing I could do. I was just fixated on this dead body, or what looked like a dead body. I walked up, I got closer and closer, and I saw this like energy hovering above this lady's body, which I now know was her soul. And I'm shaking my head like, come on, get out of my head. This can't be real. I get closer and closer, and this energy just fizzles off into the ether and disappears. By that time, I'm looking down over the lady, and her legs are wrapped up over her head. She's completely mangled. And it was like someone had taken an old car to the scrap heap. Like this soul, whatever was inside of her body, it no longer had any use for it. It had just gone on its merry way, and this empty vehicle was left on the floor. And this was my wake-up call. And this was like the universe like smacking me around the face with a bat and saying, come on, Jerry, we're so much more than these physical bodies. We're atoms and molecules in continuous movement. We're space, we're energy. Wake up, get your life in order, sort your shit out. So this was kind of like my introduction, I suppose, to something beyond the physical world. Shortly afterwards, a couple of months, my ex-wife, Laura, she had a headache. And for some reason, I thought I could take it out of her head. I don't know why I had this thought, but I walked over to her. She was on the bed, bad migraine, and I looked at her head and I saw this green stuff in her head. And I reached in, grabbed it and pulled it out. And she got up off the bed like she never had a headache. And I was like, that's a bit weird. I didn't really think too much of it. And then things just started happening in my life. We ended up moving to New Zealand. I met a guy that taught me how to meditate. I had an encounter with some extraterrestrials that took me to Alpha Centauri, where I met some Lyran beings. Had an encounter with Jesus. A whole heap of different things started happening. We ended up moving back to England. I started bumping into angels and fairies and different things. And these angels, they guided me to write a book called Into the Light about my life story. And as soon as I finished writing this book, I started seeing all these kind of like codes in the empty space. And when I met the beings, the Lyran beings, when I was in New Zealand, I had this big download of lights, and in this light were all of these codes. And after I wrote the book, I was seeing the same codes in the empty space. And I was saying to my guides, what should I do with this stuff? And they were saying, you need to meditate more. You just don't meditate enough. So I started getting up every morning with my son, Josh. We started meditating, and we were going to these Egyptian mystery schools in our meditation. And we went every day for 9 months for about 2 hours every morning. And there was a guy in this classroom, and I was sat there at this like old desk, and I was looking left to right, and there were other human beings in the classroom. And this guy was getting out these scrolls, and on the scrolls were codes. And it was the same codes that got downloaded to me by the Lyrans. And it was the same codes I was seeing in the empty space. And even now, whilst I'm looking at this screen, talking to whoever's listening, you guys, like I'm seeing these codes everywhere. Since like 2013, they've just always been there. And it's these codes that are like, this is what star magic is. And when I was in these classrooms with my son, they were showing us how to use this code to facilitate the healing of people. So after about 9 months, people started coming into my life that needed healing. So I was like, let me see if I can use this stuff and let me see if it works. And I was using it and it was working. So I thought, right, I'm going to go to this spiritual show and I'm going to hire a stall. So I went there and I put these signs up, and I was promoting my book, Into the Light. I gave a little talk, and I was saying to people, put your name down. We're going to give away 3 free healings at the end of the weekend. About 70 people put their name down. I phoned every single one of them and said, you've won, you got a free healing. So I did that so I could practice. And then, after working with those 70 people and getting referrals, it just started to snowball. And that's when Star Magic was born. And that was 2016. It's 2021 now. It's about 4.5 years we've been going. And just after it started, the same blue beings, the Lyrans that I met in New Zealand, that took me to Alpha Centauri, they came and visited me back in Gloucestershire. And I was sat on a hilltop in England. And this blue being, who's called Derek, came and sat next to me, and the whole town just disappeared. And all of these lights were there, and they were kind of like spread in this grid structure. And I said to this Lyran, what are these? He said, they're healing centers. You got to build them. I was like, okay, well, if I build them, who's gonna run them? Who's gonna work in them? Who's gonna be in them? He said, well, you got to train people. So I thought, okay. I ran home. I designed this training program and I put it online. And it was, I think, February 2017, we did our first training. And people came from America, Australia, Canada, like all over Europe, just different parts of the world. And I was like, what are these people doing here? They've all come to England to this training. I don't even know what I'm doing. And it just kind of started from there, you know, and we've trained thousands of people since. We've got 4 levels of our training, and we're training people to be able to go out and do exactly what I do. And we've got some people that are very, very close right now. And I'm in Madeira right now. We've just bought, well, about a year ago, we bought 49 acres, a big property here where we're building a healing center. We've bought property in Romania, in Transylvania, on some epic grid lines. So I'm here kind of taking a break and also doing some grid work on the property. So our aim is to build these healing centers and train as many people as we can in star magic to help with this kind of mission, because it is a mission. If you came to this chat today, to this talk, to learn something, you've come to the wrong place. If you came here because you thought I could teach you something, you've come to the wrong place. You know, all I can do is help you remember. You know, when these Lyrans showed me these codes, what I realized is that they were just waking something up that was deep inside of me and has always been deep inside of me since forever, since all the way back to whenever the start was, you know, billions of years, back to source energy, back to the start, back to the center, back to the source point. And everything that I can share with you, you already know. Anyone that ever tells you they can teach you something is full of shit, okay? You know everything. You've just forgotten it. And all we can do is trigger each other to remember the truth. So what I want to do today is just share with you a little bit about star magic and, you know, give you a couple of tips and tricks that you can use to facilitate your own healing or go out and facilitate the healing of other human beings. And I say facilitate the healing of other human beings for a very particular reason, because, you know, you can go to our website, starmagichealing.com. You can go to our testimonial page and you will see boatloads of testimonials, videos of people saying, Jerry healed my cancer. Jerry healed my fibromyalgia. Jerry healed my trigeminal neuralgia. Jerry healed my brain tumor, whatever it is. But I'll tell you now, hands down, I've never healed one soul in my entire life. All I've done is created an environment so the human being who has come for healing can self-heal. Because we never actually really heal anybody. All we do is create the environment. And there are certain kind of ingredients that you need to utilize to create that environment. Your imagination, love, light, knowing, intention. These 5 magical ingredients that I just mentioned are everything. Okay? Now, if I'm going to work on you, for example, what I'm going to do is create a hologram of you. Now, you may have heard of quantum entanglement. You know, scientists have taken the cells from a human being. They've put them into a petri dish and they've split them in half, and they've taken half of the cells to London and they've put half of the cells in New York in 2 different laboratories. And the scientists will do things to the cells in London and things will immediately happen to the cells in New York. They will respond and vice versa. So what is happening is what you're doing to one thing is happening to the other, even though it's hundreds and thousands of miles apart or tens of thousands or millions of miles apart. You know, consciousness travels at the speed of light squared, 34.7 billion miles per second. So if I decide I'm going to work on you, and you're in Australia or you're in Tanzania or you're in the Philippines or you are just down the road from me in London, then it doesn't make a blind bit of difference, because there is no time, there is no distance, there is no measurement in the quantum field. Everything is linked through black holes. Everything is connected. You know, inside your body, you've got 100 trillion cells. Inside every cell, you've got 100 trillion protons. Each one of those protons is like a mini black hole, which is connected to every other proton in the universe, every other quantum space in the entire universe. So everything is connected. And when you set an intention to decide to connect one thing to another, which is what scientists would call quantum entanglement, you are going to affect the thing that you're entangling. For example, I've got a plastic bottle. Okay, your name could be Maria Joseph. Now, if I decide that this plastic bottle is you, then this plastic bottle is you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, okay, a hologram, or I'm going to decide that an object is a hologram. So for example, I could visualize this empty body, arms, legs, a face, and a body just in my mind. And I can say, this is the hologram of Maria Joseph. This is the hologram of Maria Joseph. This is the hologram of Maria Joseph. I'll say it 3 times. 3 is creation, okay, with a very strong, fierce intention. Okay, I'm deciding that this vision in my mind is Maria Joseph. And because I'm deciding that, it is so. So if I open my heart and I connect with this hologram in my mind, what I decide to do to that hologram is gonna take place inside the biofield of Maria Joseph, wherever she is in the universe, on the world. It doesn't make any difference. I could use the bottle. I could use a phone. I mean, we've demonstrated with toilet rolls, with iPhones, with bananas, how to take disease from someone's body using a physical object. All I have to do is just decide that this object, this hologram, is this human being, and then go to work. Now, the way that we always go to work with star magic is we'll say, please show me something I don't know to help me facilitate the healing of this incredible human being. This is such an important question. Please show me something I don't know to help me facilitate the healing of this incredible human being. I'm not interested in what I do know. Now, David might have come to me last week and he might have the same symptoms that Maria Joseph has. They might both have eyesight issues, or they might both have liver issues. Just because I facilitated the healing of David in one way, it doesn't mean I'm going to facilitate the healing of Maria in another way. Star magic is not a system. Anyone that ever takes a systematical approach to healing is barking up the wrong tree. You're getting yourself into a mess before you've even started. You're limiting yourself before you've even started. When you get involved in a star magic healing session, it's like playing a game. Okay, you ask the question, please show me something I don't know to help me facilitate the healing of this incredible human being. And then you stop and you be still and you allow the universe to show you what it is that you need to be shown to help facilitate this healing. Now, what you're shown could be a color, it could be a shape, it could be a symbol, it could be a past life, it could be a future life, it could be a parallel reality. Okay, you might be observing someone's soul experience in another reality. You might be experiencing something that happened to them in childhood. Now, you may just experience like a color or a shape, or you might feel a feeling in your body. You don't know how the universe is going to show you or give you some kind of clue as to how the healing should unfold. For example, a couple of years ago, I was asked by this lady in India if I could help her grandmother or her mother. I can't remember which now, grandmother or mother. She was in hospital. She had a blocked up throat and the doctors couldn't unblock it. And she was on a drip and they said, listen, we're just going to have to stop this because this has been going on for a long time now, several months, and we just can't keep drip feeding her. So she asked if I could help, and I was like, of course I can help. And I always say that every time someone comes for a healing, even if I've never dealt with it before, I haven't got a clue what it is that is actually wrong with the human being. I just know they've got a blocked up throat. So what I do is ask the question, please show me something I don't know to help me facilitate the healing of this incredible human being. In this case, with the lady in India, I asked the question and I saw a green frog. A green frog. Now, when the universe gives you pieces of information, you have to trust. Okay, so I was shown a green frog. The green frog spat some venom into a jar that appeared in the empty space, and then the blue light came down from space and mixed with the frog venom. So I'm looking at this jar in my imagination. Remember, imagination is reality. If you can see it inside your mind, it exists somewhere. Now, the universe is showing me a blue light, a frog, some venom, and a jar. Okay, this is how my brain is perceiving it logically. But actually, within the blue light, the frog venom, and the jar, there is computer codes. There is geometry. There is fractalized light. And this is just how my brain is perceiving it. So what I did is I got an imaginary syringe. I stuck it into the jar, drew the venom out, stuck it into the back of the lady's neck, her hologram, and injected her. The next day, her throat cleared up. How is that possible? Well, I didn't find this out until about 1.5 years later, but I was telling the same story to someone, and they said, actually, frogs resemble throat medicine in like Native American Indian medicine. So somehow the universe was presenting to me some kind of medicine that was good for her throat. And what I did was inject it into the back of her, back of her neck. When you start to trust and play, the universe will always give you the tools that you need. But when you play inside of a system, you know, we've trained a lot of people, okay? Reiki healers, master Reiki healers, quantum healers, bioenergy healers, all different types of healers, 40, 50, 60 years experience. They all come to our training and say, Star Magic is the next level. It's fast and it's efficient. The frequency's higher, but the main reason is we play. We play like little kids, okay? We don't treat this as a system. We don't put our hands on chakras and all of this sort of stuff. We just open ourselves up to the infinite field. There's an ocean of possibility, but you have to open yourself up to it and be willing to step into the unknown. Like bumblebees are my favorite insect, okay? The reason I like bumblebees is because bumblebees don't know they can't fly. According to the law of aerodynamics, they got these big fat bodies and these tiny little wings, right? And they should not be able to get off the ground, but they don't know that. So they wake up every morning and they just vibrate, bzzz, and they fly off of their tree or their flower or wherever they are, and they go and pollinate and collect pollen and work the magic, yeah? But bumblebees don't know that. Now, imagine we as human beings, okay, could just be like bumblebees for a moment and stop thinking that this is impossible. Someone has stage 5 cancer. The doctors have given them 8 weeks to live. That's it. Boom, they're brown bread. They're dead. They're going under 6 feet. They're going in a coffin. They're getting cremated because the doctor said so. What if you could change your programming, change your patterning, and decide that you're going to step into the quantum field and find a solution? Because if you decide you're going to step into the quantum field and find the solution, you will find a solution, but you won't find an actual solution. What you'll do is you'll find a new reality, or you'll create a new reality. Doctors and nurses work inside a problem solution rule book. Okay, if you go to the doctor and say, hey, Mr. Doctor, Mrs. Doctor, I've got this rash, or I've got this issue with my body, the doctor's going to say, I have a solution because you've got this particular disease. They look in their medical book. Okay, to have a solution, there must be a problem. To have a problem, there must be a solution. They're polar opposites of the same playing card. What we do with Star Magic is say, please show me something I don't know to help me facilitate the healing of this incredible human being. And then we drop into the quantum field. And the universe doesn't offer us a solution, but it offers us an alternative reality or potential, like the lady with the frog and the throat. We're talking about computer codes here. And if you really, truly want to really understand how healing works, you've got to look at yourself as a biological computer. You have a body and a brain. Your body and your brain are part of the same biological computer. And what happens when we go into a healing session is we're changing the programming on a code level. You know, our physical human body is incredible. You know, we have 6 feet of DNA inside every single cell. If you get all of the DNA out of one cell and you string it all together, it's about 6 feet long. If you put all of that DNA together, it's about 10 billion miles. It wraps around the solar system a few times. It's pretty nuts, man. It's crazy. And you can get all of that DNA and squash it down into the size of an egg. You can get 35,000 terabytes of information on your DNA. You can get 35 million hours of high definition video on your DNA. That's a lot of data. That's a hell of a lot of data. Your DNA is like computer code. When I drop into the quantum field and I say, please show me something I don't know, when I'm seeing the green frog and the blue venom, what I'm being shown is computer code in a way that my logical brain can understand it or understand it. Sometimes what happens is I might see a parallel reality, a past life, a future life. Everything in the quantum field is now. There is no future and past. Even though in linear time format, it may be deemed as in the future or deemed as in the past, everything is now. But when I jump into the quantum field and I start to play it, I start to see someone's, you know, past life, future life, present life reality in the now space, I can change that. It's like you got a website, yeah, and you want to, let's say your website is yellow and you want to change it from yellow to blue. You can either go into the back end of your website and you can change the computer code, or you can pay someone, a computer expert, to go into the back end of your computer system, change the code. And then what will happen, once you've changed the code in the back end, the code in the front end is going to change. And the website's going to change color from red to blue or green to yellow, or you might come up with a new image on the front end of your website, because you changed the code in the back end. If someone comes to me and they've got a particular disease, I'm going to go into the back end of their biological computer and change the programming. And that is alter the past life. Let me give you another example of how this can work. I had a guy that was in bed for like 6 months. Okay, had adrenal fatigue, all sorts of stuff. His life was a complete mess. Lots of stuff had happened, but we don't need to go into all of that. There was a lot of guilt involved. There was a lot of abuse involved. A whole heap of different kind of, like, you know, human stories from this life and others. I've gone in and said, please show me something I don't know to help me facilitate the healing of this incredible human being. And I was shown a man walking down a road with his girlfriend. There was a car coming down the road, and the girlfriend has stepped out into the road and got run over by the car. The boyfriend has then got the girl in his arms. She's bleeding. She's dead, and he's crying his eyes out and he's screaming for help. The man walking down the road was the same soul aspect as the human being that I was healing in this life, who'd been in bed for 6 months. And I was showing one of the major traumas that had created his pain in this reality. So what I did is I rewound that timeline. I rewound the timeline back to the point before she had stepped out into the road. And as he was walking down the road, I saw the car come in. I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, listen, there's a car coming, brother. He looked over his shoulder, saw the car come, and put his arm around his girlfriend and pulled her into the side. The car went past. That's a completely different reality now. I then got that whole vision that was inside my mind. Remember, imagination is reality, right? So I've got this whole vision. I've turned it into geometry, into code, into light. And I've created like an imaginary USB stick. And all of that vision has flowed through a river of light into my USB stick. I've then taken that USB stick, stuck it into the top of the fella's head who I'm working on, into his hologram, because remember, he's in a different country to me. And I've downloaded this new program. He got out of bed within days. He'd been to so many different healers. He'd been to so many different coaches. No one could get him out of bed. His adrenal fatigue was getting worse and worse. I changed this program. I actually changed a couple more programs as well that were running from some other soul experiences. But we don't need to go into all of them because I'm just trying to give you an idea. We've got 45 minutes here. So I'm just trying to rattle through a few different examples. But by changing the programming in the back end of his biological computer, he was able to get out of bed. So the physical symptoms inside his body had disappeared. And this is really important to kind of get your head around. When something happens to our physical body, it literally is just the physical body communicating with us and saying, hey, you need to look at this. Because the body is just a communication device. When something's gone amiss, when there's something from childhood, something from a past life, parallel reality, and it could be our liver, which is to do with anger, it's to do with guilt. You know, our heart is to do with love, our throat speaking our truth. The back of our neck is to do with rigidity. Like everything means something. All of the different teeth mean something. The teeth are all about decisions, but different teeth mean different kind of things to do with decisions. Okay, our wrists, hands, holding on to things, knees, support, moving forward, stability, lower back, money. Every part of the body means something different. And when you know how to read the body, you just got to look and say, right, how is my body trying to communicate with me? And then you can go into the back end of your system and change the program. There are so many different ways to do it. And as I said, our shortest training is 7 days. We do 10-day trainings. And, you know, there are so many different ways to skin a cat, for not want of a better analogy, But you have choices, okay? You have choices as a human being. You can decide, do I want to wallow in my pity, or do I want to go into my cosmic heart where all the answers lie and actually do some research? Because by diving in here and asking the right questions, you're going to get the right answers, and you're always going to know what to do. Please show me something I don't know to help me facilitate the healing of this incredible human being. That human being could be you. That human being could be me. It could be anyone else on the planet. Your mum, your dad, your sister, a stranger. It doesn't matter. You could heal an animal in the same way, a fish, a tree. It doesn't matter. Everything is computer code. And your human body is like an interface. This is how your biological computer interfaces with other biological computers. Okay? The hologram is an interface between the hologram and another human being's biological computer. You've just got to decide what that hologram is. Now, let me give you a very simple way that you can kind of tap the universal field and help or enable your own physical healing. Okay, we are stardust. We came from the stars, whether you know that or not. I'm not going to use the word believe, because you shouldn't believe in anything. You shouldn't believe in yourself. You shouldn't believe in me. You shouldn't believe anything that comes out of my mouth or anyone's mouth. You shouldn't believe any thoughts in your own head. You've got to transcend believing, and you've got to go deeper to that inner state of knowing. Because when you know yourself, like the temple at Delphi. Okay, know thyself. It doesn't say believe in yourself, does it? It says know yourself, because knowing is a feeling. When you believe, belief systems are based on thoughts and ideas. And I can say, I believe I'm a good person. I believe that I can do this. But when I know I can do it, that trumps believing every single time. So we've got to go past those belief systems into that state of eternal knowing. Now, you have feet, calves, knees, thighs, hamstrings, genitals, buttocks, hips. You have a body, right? There are 13 constellations in our zodiac. No, there are not 12. There are 13. The 13th one is Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus links to the human nervous system. It's the snake bearer. 13 is the most powerful number. It's the number of the divine goddess. 49 days after conception, a Merkaba appears inside the body. 8 little cells. They join together and form a Merkaba. That Merkaba is held down in your between your vagina and your anus, or your testicles and your anus, down in your perineum. They're called your genesis cells. They're the only cells in your human body that don't change. They contain all of the information on your soul records, future, past, present, just everything, ancestral, soul experiences, all the way back to your galactic origins. 49 days after conception, 9 and 4, 13, DMT, dimethyltryptamine appears in your body. The piece of land that we've bought here in Madeira is 49 acres. Is that a coincidence? No, it's not. 4 and 9 is 13. The number of the divine goddess. There are 13 constellations in our zodiac. Pisces connects with your feet. Aquarius, your shins, your calves. Capricorn, your knees. Sagittarius, your thighs and your hamstrings. Scorpio, your genitals. Libra is your buttocks and your hips. Virgo is your kind of belly area. Leo is your heart and all of your back. Gemini, the twins, is your shoulders all the way down to your fingertips. Both arms, the twins, both sides. You've got Cancer as your chest. Taurus, the throat, the neck. Aries, the head and the face. And then Ophiuchus, the nervous system, spine. Why would they take away the constellation that links to the most important part of our human body, our nervous system? Why would they change from 13 to 12? All of those days of our year should be split 28 days across 13 months. But that's why we've got some odd days, 31 days or 29 days or 30 days or whatever it is, okay? Because they just spread them across the other months because they wanted to tip that divine feminine balance and bring us more into ego, more into the masculine, more into that domination, power and control. The power is in the feminine and the masculine being in equilibrium, being in perfect balance. If you want to heal or facilitate the healing of your own physical body, this is one thing you can do. I want you to bring up your own hologram, okay? You can visualize just like an empty head, just at the outline of a head, shoulders, arms, a body and legs. Visualize it in your mind, see it, create it. Like a chalked outline of a dead body lying on the pavement, on the sidewalk. But it's just a beautiful outline of you. Now, I want you to visualize that in your mind and then say, this is the hologram of. In my case, I'd say this is the hologram of Jerry Sargeant. This is the hologram of Jerry Sargeant. This is the hologram of Jerry Sargeant. I want you to say that 3 times. And then whilst you're staring at it and intending that this is the hologram of who you are, okay? Now, once you've done that, I want you to make sure that the back of the hologram is facing towards you. So the heart and the chest is facing away. So if you need to turn it around, turn it around. Now what I want you to do is to connect to the star Sirius, okay? And I want you to visualize an electric pink light coming from the dog star. Okay, so masculine frequency coming down, an electromagnetic light through the skies, through the cosmic fabric, down through Mother Earth's atmosphere, all the way down through the skies, through the roof of your space, down through the crown of your hologram and into the heart of your hologram. And see that pink light flowing. Now I want you to connect to Mother Earth. Way down deep in her core, she has a Merkaba, okay? A Merkaba, 2 tetrahedrons. The top one's masculine, the bottom one is feminine. Okay, the bottom tetrahedron is platinum. I want you to visualize a platinum light coming from Mother Earth's bottom tetrahedron, up through the rocks and the minerals, up through the surface of the planet, up into your space, up through your roots, up through your body and into your heart. So the platinum and the electric pink meet in the center of your hologram. and then a vortex starts to spin clockwise. Just visualize that. Now I want you to open your own heart and shine light from your heart in through the back of your hologram. So you're basically shining light from your own heart back into yourself. You're in two different spaces at the same time here. You've got your physical body and your hologram. Open your heart. See the pink and the platinum lights getting really bright. Open your own heart wider. Now, if you've got any kind of like physical pain, anything in your body, let's say, for example, the pain is in your neck. I want you to connect to the constellation of Taurus and see the light from Taurus flow down into your neck. Or just say to Taurus, I want to heal. I want to facilitate the healing of my neck. And that light will just come straight down into your neck and go to work. It will bring codes. It will transmit data, quantum information to start to work on your neck. If it's your feet, you connect to Pisces. If it's your shins, calves, it's Aquarius, knees, Capricorn. Sagittarius is your thighs, hamstrings. Scorpio is your genitals. Libra, your buttocks, your hips. Your back is Leo. Your heart is Leo. Cancer is your chest. Virgo is your belly. If you've got anything wrong with your kidneys, liver, pancreas, any of your vital organs in this area, connect to Leo, Cancer, and Virgo all at the same time. Bring them all in. If it's your arms, it's Gemini. Head and face is Aries. Your nervous system is Ophiuchus. This is just a very simple way you can facilitate your own healing. As I said, there are a myriad of ways. For me to show you how to tap into the quantum fields and access the parallel life data, there needs to be a training of the heart rate and the brain waves to slow them down. And this is what we show people on our main 7-day facilitated trainings. There's a whole heap of arsenal of information that we share, but this is something that you can use right now without getting too technical. So if you've ever got anything going on with your body, you bring up your hologram, Sirius, Mother Earth's platinum frequency. They merge in your heart. You open your own heart into the back of your hologram, and then you connect to the right star constellation, the right star, the right frequency, and you bring it into your own body. And then you just hold space, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. It does not take long at all. Healing is fast and efficient. Fast and efficient. You know, I was working on a lady a couple of weeks ago on our level 2 training. And she's only ever had one lung. And she never told us this in the first training, but she did on the second training. So I said, okay, I want you to close your eyes and take some nice long deep breaths. And what I did is I created a quantum lung. I built a quantum lung in the empty space and I fitted it into her hologram whilst she was on Zoom on the other end. It took about 10 minutes. And this is 2 weeks ago. This lady, she couldn't walk, she couldn't run like 5 meters. Now she's running 1,000 meters and we've agreed to do a marathon together in the next year. She's just going to find the right location. Okay, if I can create a quantum lung and it takes 10 minutes, okay, anything is possible. There are no limitations to healing. You have to just get out of your own way, be prepared to step into the unknown and ask that question. Please show me something I don't know to help me facilitate the healing of this incredible human being. And then magic and miracles can take place. And if I can do this, a drug smuggler from the streets, okay, then you can do it too. So don't doubt yourself. I'm no different from you. I'm just a normal human being just like you. We've trained doctors and firemen and nurses and stay-at-home mums, lawyers, everybody. Beginners and experienced healers. Everyone can do it. Never doubt yourself, beautiful soul. You're an incredible, amazing, intelligent being. And all of it is locked inside of you.
Wow, Jerry, that was just incredible. Thank you so much. What beautiful information, and the way that you talked about the holographic healing body is so important and essential to our healing. We have so many amazing comments and response, and a question about healing the self. Can we heal ourselves? And I think you answered that. But is there anything we need to know about the energies that we're bringing in from the astrology? Are there certain colors we should be working with, or how do we know what energy to bring in? Do we just call in that astrological essence or pure energy form? Can you just, like, 1 second, speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, don't be concerned about colors. As soon as you connect and intend that star system knows exactly what to do. Remember, you came from the stars. This isn't something new. This is something ancient and something natural, and everything will just unfold as soon as you set that intention.
Amazing. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jerry. Well, if people want to get in touch with you, where do they find you?
If you go to www.starmagichealing.com, you can get in contact with me there. Our Instagram pages, Facebook pages, YouTube channels are on the website. And yeah, just reach out. We've got all sorts of stuff free that you can get involved in, global meditations, all sorts of content. So come and join the party. Come and join the tribe.
That's incredible. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jerry. Much love.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you.